Hello everybody and welcome back. I have journal shares today. This is the first one. It's my usual single signature, somewhat chunky affair. Fabric over cardstock. Excuse me. Tied with some sari silk. You can see it's quite bulgy. No dangles on this one, but lots of clip-ins, and the cover, I haven't put anything down the spine, but we've got some lace across the bottom here. This is a Mrs. Cog image on the front. Just over some fabric. Oh, excuse me. Okay, there's a lot in this one, so I will try and show you all of it. But we might be here a little while, so we've got a collage pocket and some little tags here. This is part of a vintage photograph. Got my letter. This is stuck on firmly to cover the stitching that was under there. And then there's a piece of ledger paper, vintage ledger paper, just to cover that up, and a tag. Just a very simple one with an illustration from a book. I think this journal, if I remember rightly, I finished this a little while ago, has got somewhat of a doggy theme running through it. So we've got this lovely drawing here, a vintage photograph that I've just dressed up slightly as part of a postcard. A bit of sari trim here, and some collage. This is vintage letter. This is Mrs. Cog. I've got a shorter page here with a pocket, and I've just tied a bow at the top, and in here there is a 1952 French receipt and a blank receipt from a book, a receipt book. So I want those over the top of that, if that will work. There we go. Another little tag medley on the back here. This is some fussy cutting, a fairy, and a bit of vintage map there. Put a ruffle on this page. Over on the other side we've got a dangle, and in this pocket I have a letter from 1933. It's about somebody's estate. Just a simple tag, but I put some vintage French school paper on the back and a vintage library card. On this side I've just clipped in a photograph here. Lovely image really of this lady, probably very proud of her flower garden, and another image from that rose book which I've turned into a journal card, and a playing card on this side. It's a bit more of this map book, some stenciling and stamping, and a bit of splattering for a change. This is from an old calendar made up of vintage photographs, and this is some French toile fabric. Got some modelling paste here just to dress this up slightly, and then in this pocket got a ledger, a sheet of ledger paper, magazine page, some vintage adverts on there, and a page from an early atlas, I suppose, really, telling you how to drive from various places, London to Basingstoke and Salisbury. Tells you that the road's very hilly, but it's in first class condition. In dry seasons it's very apt to be loose. The hill at Winchester is dangerous. Don't know if it still is. A little bit of fussy cutting here to dress up that Edith Holden page, and some collage on this side. Here I've gone back to the dogs, so this is a vintage cigarette card, as is this, and in the pocket, which I've made from a guest check, I've got a postcard, and a French document. I'm not sure of the date, but it's not new. And a little dangle that I've made there. This is from that French exercise book, or a French exercise book. In this pocket I have got 1892, bit of writing from 1892. Tag. And this photograph, vintage photograph of a schoolgirl. Another dog. This is from the vintage 1920s Flower Fairy book. In this pocket we have a page from an old book telling you how to cook your eggs, and a lesson in making pancakes and donuts, but maybe not the whole thing. And this is one of those vintage computer cards that I've just put a bit of decoupage on. Fussy cutting. This is the centre. Another little medley of tags here. Flower Fairy, a plain one, and some tin Holtz paper. Put together with it's just dangling off this ribbon, which is tied around the top of the page. Excuse me. This is a cross stitch which I did a number of years ago. I've got a few of these. I just thought I might as well use them, and colours match nicely. This journal is called Ellen. Some note paper, another document, cost me 20p, from 1875. And this is an old postcard. A lady looking very proud in some kind of uniform there. In this pocket there is another vintage document. Probably you're getting bored now. I shouldn't wonder. This is Tim Holtz wallpaper and the Flower Fairy, the matching colours. This is Cog. In here I've got some vintage French embroidery paper from an old road map. And this is a reproduction photograph of my grandmother as a young girl and her niece. I've stuck it onto an original postcard back. I probably didn't like the picture that was on the front, but that's worked quite well really. A bit more of that French fabric. Another dangle. Some ledger paper, and another old photograph with a dog. Try to carry on with the dogs through here. In this one, an envelope from 1968, an inventory tag, and a magazine page, advertisement page from a magazine, 1930s I think. The other side of that calendar. This is an envelope with a vintage photograph on the front and a small cabinet card on the back. That's that one. And then on the next page I have got a document from 1964. I think that's some kind of its results, a sort of French hospital results. I might make head and tail of that, but and this is a little bit from a bit that I've cut off a old birthday card. Sorry, I'm losing my words now. A bit more ruffle. Gosh, I did put a lot in this one. Another photograph, another document, 1902, from the cigarette album. And this maybe this is baby Ellen. It's got her peeping out there. And on the back I have added something, this is from 1832. It's a magazine. I've got a few of these. They're in very poor condition, but they do make interesting reading. Not necessarily completely politically correct these days, unfortunately. I have tried to censor them a bit. If you don't find something you don't like on there, obviously just throw it away. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon.